At the outset, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to Professor Dr. Madhusudan Chetty and his team for having organized this webinar in a beautiful manner. I also congratulate him for having selected this May 22nd for this topic, role of immunoboosters in combating COVID-19, because May 22nd is the United Nations declared International Day for Biological Diversity. This COVID-19 has taught us a number of lessons. One of the major lessons that we learned during this period of lockdown is we should be with nature. We had gone against nature, and because of that, our biological diversity was jeopardized. But now, in this 50+ days of lockdown, the nature is able to cure itself, heal itself, and also help us. In this International Day of Biological Diversity, I would just like to mention one famous success story of India. Before 1960, there were 1 lakh rice varieties, but now we have a handful of rice varieties. There is a very particular rice variety called Jeera Pool. This Jeera Pool rice is very aromatic. If you put it in mouth, the raw rice will be soft and flaky. But slowly it was endangered. People were not cultivating it. It was supposed to leave this earth and go. In 2005, 20 tribal women belonging to Surkunj district in Chhattisgarh, they started a self-help group and they started cultivating this endangered rice variety Jeera Pool. And because of their hard work, in 2019, they had also got geographical indications for this rice Jeera Pool. Today, in 400 hectares, 1,000 tons of Jeera Pool is being produced only by this self-help women group. They have been appreciated by Indian Council of Agricultural Research, by United Nations Environment Program, and the worldwide. So on this International Day of Biological Diversity, I request all of you to please join me in congratulating this tribal woman of Surgunj district for having re-established the biological diversity of rice. Thank you very much. And we will go to our topic. Before we go to our topic, I would like to give you a namaste, namaskar. My dear friends, 500 years back, we were all greeting one another by a namaskar. Then we had the British 200 years back. When they entered, they commented that folding the hands and greeting one another is not modern. So they introduced the concept of shaking hands. We were very much attracted with whatever the white say. So we also forgot our tradition of giving a namaste and we started shaking hands. My dear friends, I am the Registrar Academic of Mother Teresa Postgraduate and Research Institute of Health Sciences, a Government of Pondicherry institution offering 19 courses. 2 courses that we offer are very popular. One is BPT and another one is MPT. And the students of the therapy and masters in physiotherapy, they go to a nearby institution called VCRC, Vector Controlled Research Center, which is an ICMR institution, Indian Council of Medical Research Institution. This ICMR institution, VCRC, they diagnose and treat people who are suffering from filariasis. You know about elephantiasis. They have swollen extremes, swollen legs. So they are diagnosed and treated by VCRC, and our students, our physiotherapy students, they go there and teach them exercises so that they can lead a normal lifestyle. Now, the exercises that they taught them, they designed was very good. So it was appreciated. So they wanted to have a third person audit so that it could be recommended to the government. For the third person audit, they invited a panel of physiotherapists from various places, and those physiotherapists went through the entire exercise and then they gave an eye-opening comment. They said that especially people in South India, their forefathers are very, 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 very intelligent. See, parallel to our blood circulation, we have something called lymph circulation. And lymph circulation is passive. Only when we do an exercise, then the lymph circulation goes on. So, the better the lymph circulation, we will have less number of infections. Take, for example, filariasis. The filarial worms, they live in the lymph. They block the lymph node. The male worm and the female worm, they intertwingle and then they block the lymph node. That is why there is swollen extremities, swollen legs, swollen hands. Now, if you do an Indian style of namaste, if you fold your hands and bend a little, that means you are triggering your lymph circulation. If your lymph circulation is healthy, then that acts as a prophylaxis for filariasis. That is why our forefathers were greeting one another with the namaste. So this is the science behind the Indian way of greeting. And this Indian way of greeting, per day you will meet 50 people. So for 50 people, if you greet them by the Indian way of giving a namaste, if you fold your hands and bend a little, then your lymph is energized. The lymph circulation is energized. This lymph circulation, when energized, they also boost our immunity, and that indirectly helps us to fight COVID-19. My dear friends, there was a proposal, research proposal, that Indians will have more enthalmins in their stomach because of poor hygiene. See, in yesteryears, 200, 300 years back, all the doorknobs were made up of brass, bronze, or silver. Brass, bronze, or silver will kill the microorganisms on its surface in 8 hours. But today, all the doorknobs are made up of plastic or powder-coated metals. They don't kill the microorganisms. So when we touch the doorknob, when we touch the rupee note, when we touch such surfaces, the spores of enthalmins will enter into our finger, especially fingernails. And when we touch our mouth, they go into our system. So the proposal was Indians will be having more worms in their stomach. But when they did a survey, it was not so. Then when they did meta-analysis, why it was not so, they found that Indians don't greet another by giving a shake hand. We greet one another by giving a namaste. When we give a namaste, what does it mean? It means my infection, let it be with me. Your infection, let it be with you. My dear friends, of late, with the advent of droplet infection, the whole world is saying, greet one another by the Indian method of greeting. Give them a namaste. Don't follow the Western method of greeting one another with a shake hand. In some countries, they used to greet one another by rubbing their cheeks. They used to hug. But now nothing can be done. The nature has proved that the Indian method of greeting one another with a namaste is the best method. And that is the best way to save ourselves from COVID-19. There is another one interesting research that we say is that when we fold our hands, there is a coordination between our right brain and left brain. So one simple method of saying namaste, namaskar, that increases the lymph circulation, avoids droplet infection, avoids fecal-oral contamination, and helps in coordination of the right brain and left brain. So that is the greatness of India, especially in such small things. My dear friends, we were pioneers in many fields. The world first university is Takshashila, started 700 years before the birth of Jesus Christ. The world's second university is Nalanda, started 400 years before the birth of Jesus Christ. In the whole world, when they were running schools, we were running universities. The first Caesarean operation was done by Sushruta, an Indian. The first operation for glaucoma was done by Sushruta, an Indian. The first operation for removing of kidney stone was done by an Indian, Sushruta. The value of pi, 22/7, was first given by Bodhayana. India was the only source of diamonds till 18th century. We introduced the concept of navigation. The word navigation is from a Sindhi word, navigat. Wireless communication was invented by Professor Jagdish Chandra Bose before Marconi. So we were pioneers, but today, where are we? My dear friends, we all know about Indus Valley civilization. In Indus Valley civilization, the people, major occupation was taking care of cow, goat, and grazing animals. They were made nomadic by the nomadic tribe from Afghanistan. So, taking care of their cow, goat, and other cattle, they went in search of grasslands. They entered India through the northernmost tip, Khyber Pass. When they entered into India, at that time water was in abundance. In Punjab, we had 5 rivers. We had Brahmaputra, we had Ganges, we had Tapi. So water was available in plenty. So with the available water, they came out with a system of medicine, which we call it as Ayurveda. Veda means science. Ayur means life. Ayurveda means science of life. We had a very big continent which was encompassing the present day Sri Lanka, Singapore, Malaysia, Java, Sumatra, Australia. So that was called as Lemuria. This Lemuria was such a big continent, and the people from Lemuria were affected by tsunami. To save themselves from the tsunami, they were running to a higher land. They entered India through the southernmost tip, Kanyakumari. When they entered India through the southernmost tip, Kanyakumari, they were not able to find perennial rivers. So less plantation, but more minerals and more metals. So with the available plants, minerals and metals, they came out with a system of medicine, which they call it as Siddha. The entire Siddha system of medicine was written in Tamil. That is why it did not enter to other frontiers. The whole of India was under Ayurveda, and the entire South India was under Siddha. Both Ayurveda and Siddha coexisted. These both are the truly Indian systems of medicine. In Tamil Nadu, there is a beautiful place called Annamalai Nagar. We have a famous university called Annamalai University. So near that, there is a place called Oma Puliyur and another place called Kanatam Puliyur. So in Oma Puliyur, there was a great saint called Patanjali. He came out with a system of medicine which we call it as yoga. Today, the Indian system of medicine, yoga, is ruling the world. The whole world is interested in yoga. I was mentioning about another place called Kanatam Puliyur, where we had Vyagrapada. Vyagrapada advocated naturopathy. Throughout India, we had a very powerful system called naturopathy. I can give you one example. Take the way in which New Year is celebrated in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Very beautiful way. The season in which they have their Telugu New Year is a season where all the microorganisms from spore form will go to vegetative form. So people will be suffering from different type of infections. So as a prophylaxis to prevent infections, the people in Andhra Pradesh, they celebrate their New Year by taking a bitter drug, that is neem tender leaves. And that is the season where the neem tree flowers. So they take the neem flower. They take the fresh tamarind, tartaric acid. They take mango. They take jaggery. And out of that, they made a bitter formulation which improves the immunity of the people. This is naturopathy. Yoga, naturopathy, Ayurveda, Siddha. These four are the truly Indian systems of medicine. And in all these four truly Indian systems of medicine, we always live with nature. We walk with nature. We take the best from the nature. We never go against the nature. But today, because of modernization, we have gone very far away from nature. And we have started ridiculing our own systems of medicine. My dear friends, in the Siddha system of medicine, in the first line, it is beautifully said, if you are a human being, you can suffer from 4,448 diseases. In the year 2015, I had an opportunity of meeting the great Professor Dr. Ranjit Rai Chowdhury. At the time, he was in Chennai. So when discussing with him, he said that in no other systems of medicine, there is a clear-cut demarcation or a clear-cut information that humans can suffer from 4,448 diseases, except Indian systems of medicine. That is the greatness of Siddha system of medicine. And in this Siddha system of medicine, they have clearly said how to avoid all these 4,448 diseases. My dear friends, some 2 months back, I was fortunate enough to be in this Shantiram College of Pharmacy in Nandyal. So the family of the College of Pharmacy of Shantiram College of Pharmacy, they were so kind enough to take me to one nearby place where there was a great saint called Brahmangaru. He has written that in this period, the whole world will have to face a microorganism called Korangi. So for corona, the name he has given some 4,000 years back was Korangi. So look at the foresightedness of Indians. And with this foresightedness, we have classified years into 60 batches. 60 years form one batch. So they have found that there is a repetition of events once in 60 years. This year is called as a year where we will be having more disadvantages because of diseases. 60 years back, there was a similar condition. So the people who lived in those who faced a similar pandemic situation 60 years back. They have their experiences given from generation to generation. In India, everything is based on sharing of experience. If we have a new medicine discovered, then it is called a home remedy. Something is covered. You remove that cover, that is called a discover. So when you discover a new medicine, that is called home remedy. For 30 years, if you practice that home remedy without any side effect, without adverse reactions, and slowly improvising the formulation, then it becomes a country medicine. Then it becomes a native medicine. Another 30 years, if the community is able to reap the benefits of this medicine as a country medicine without side effect, without adverse reaction, then it is adopted into a system of medicine. It is adopted into Ayurveda or Siddha system of medicine. So for a medicine to enter into a system of medicine like Ayurveda and Siddha, it takes 90 years. 30 years form a generation. So only if a medicine is in the community for 3 generations, then it is accepted into the Indian system of medicine, either Ayurveda or Siddha. So that is the greatness of the Indian system of medicine. And I was mentioning about the 4 systems of medicine: Ayurveda, Yoga, Siddha, and Naturopathy. And our government has coined a beautiful terminology that is called Ayush. Ayush is abbreviation for Ayurveda, Yoga, Unani, Siddha, and Homeopathy. Homeopathy is an international system of medicine founded by Samuel Hahnemann, which we adopted. We were under the Mughals for 300 years. At the time, we had received Unani. So apart from that, Ayurveda, Yoga, Siddha, and Naturopathy are the truly Indian systems of medicine. So what is the major difference between the Indian systems of medicine and the rest of the world, the modern medicine? Indian systems of medicine aim at cure, whereas the modern system of medicine aims at management. Today, diabetes mellitus can be managed. Can it be cured? Hypertension can be managed. Can it be cured? Arthritis can be managed. Can it be cured? Cancer can be managed. Can it be cured? But in yesteryears, 500 years back, in India, we were curing the diseases. We were not aiming at management. Similarly, this COVID-19 can be prevented and cured rather than being managed. For that, the Ayurveda and the Siddha system of medicine, they had come out with a beautiful concept called Rasayana. Rasayana is a class of drugs that boost our immunity. The word rasa means nutrient. Ayana means to carry. See, God has created our human body in such a way that the body can heal itself. It can protect itself. It can save itself from the attack from microorganisms. Now, for that body to heal itself, to protect itself, it needs micronutrients. Those micronutrients are called as rasa. Those micronutrients have to be given to all parts of the body. So the body should be able to carry those nutrients throughout the body. And for that, we need ayana. So this is Rasayana drugs. We have plenty of Rasayana drugs. As per the Indian system of medicine, food is medicine and medicine is food. Slowly, we have lost our food and our medicine has become synthetic. In yesteryears, there were good eating practices. That means you should eat only 2 times a day. A person who eats once a day was called as yogi. He was above human. A person who eats 2 times a day was called as bogi. Bogi means an average person. A person who eats 3 times a day was called as rogi. Rogi means a person with disease, patient. A person who eats 4 times a day is called drohi. That means he is acting against his own health. So, in yesteryears, people were eating 2 times a day. And what they were eating? They were eating fresh seasonal vegetables, fresh seasonal fruits. In Sanskrit, we have a beautiful word called palahar. Phal plus ahar. Phal means fruit. Ahar means food. Having fruits as your food. The nature knows that in every season we will be getting a disease. To overcome that disease, we need to have some healthy foods. They are called as nutraceuticals today. They are called as superfoods today. And the superfoods given by nature, we have to take it in the natural way. The ancient man was taking the fruit. The modern man said, hey, why are you taking the fruit? Why don't you take the juice? Then he started taking the juice. And then the juice was made to stay for a long time by adding preservatives, synthetic chemical preservatives. And slowly there were taste enhancers, again synthetic enhancers. And now we have artificial juice which contains no fruit content. So from where did we start and where have we landed? And this corona has now said that you will have to take the fruit as such. Because when you take the fruit as such, you will be having very good fiber content. When you take the juice, you are losing the fiber. That fiber is very good for our body. It cleanses our body. It boosts our immunity.
Their hand when I call their names, so they can be spot typed. The third prize was...
Hello? Somebody is interfering?
No, sir. It's clear, sir. Please carry on.
Okay. So, we need to take the fruits as such. We need to take the vegetables as such. That is called salads. Today, cardiologists all over the world, they are recommending that per day you should take minimum 5 different colored fruits or vegetables. Beetroot has a different color. Carrot has a different color. Cucumber has a different color. Radish has a different color. Greens have a different color. So like that, you should take 5 different colors of vegetable per day. Why? The color of the fruits and vegetables is because of a natural pigment called anthocyanin. These anthocyanins are free radical scavengers. They scavenge the free radical in our body and throw them outside the body. These free radicals are responsible for most of our diseases, cancer, arthritis, diabetes. So, if we are having free radical scavengers with us, we will be healthy. They will boost our immunity. If our immunity is strong, we need not worry about COVID-19. See, the Americans, they have the best, but look at the number of deaths. The whole world comments on the health system of India, but look at our number of deaths. So it is our immunity. It is our immunity and our way of life. In the Western community, they don't have something called breakfast. They don't have something called lunch. They don't have something called dinner. Whenever they have an opportunity, they eat. They don't eat for their hunger. They eat for their taste buds. But here, we know in the morning when we are breaking our fast, that means in the whole night we don't eat anything, we are fasting. In the morning we break our fast, that is called breakfast. When you are having a breakfast, you should eat like a king. We take rich food in the morning. I can give you a very good example. Idli. Idli has rice, steam boiled rice, and urad dal. So rice gives you carbohydrate and urad dal gives you protein. Both are made into a paste and they are fermented. So when they are fermented, the nutrients are well assimilated. After fermentation, it is steamed. So when it is steamed, the harmful microorganisms die. And then this idli is taken with chutney. So you have coconut, you had fried Bengal gram dal, you have asafoetida, you have chilies, you have coriander. So all the resins, all the volatile oil, everything that is required is available in chutney. And then you have sambar, all vegetables in tartaric acid. So what else is required? Such a beautiful balanced diet for breakfast created by Indians. Idli, chutney and sambar. So my dear friends, we have a beautiful proverb: in the morning eat like a king, in the afternoon eat like a prince, in the night eat like a beggar. A prince will eat heavily. So in the afternoon, if you eat heavily, your metabolism will be high. You will be able to digest them. In the night, you will have to eat like a beggar. In those days, beggar will not have sufficient food. So they used to eat little. So we had a practice: what to eat, what not to eat, when not to eat. But this was lost by modernization. And because of that, everybody is suffering from fiber deficiency, micronutrient deficiency. Because of that, the immunity is compromised. When the immunity is compromised, we are susceptible to COVID-19. My dear friends, you can see people who drink water from any place. Their immunity will be very strong. We have been introduced to reverse osmosis and we have become addicted to reverse osmosis. We are drinking only RO water. You go out and drink one glass of water in the hotel. Next day you will have cold. Next day you will have upper respiratory tract infections. Next day you will have stomach pain. What happened to our immunity? See, reverse osmosis, for 1 liter of drinking water, 4 liters of water is going to the ground. And in India, we are having a scarcity of drinking water, pure water. And we are wasting 4 liters of water for 1 liter of drinking water. In yesteryears, in the Ayurveda and Siddha system of medicine, there were methods how to purify the drinking water. Alum, we call it in Tamil as Padigaram, which is an astringent that was added to purify water. The stem bark of Phyllanthus embolica was proved to purify water. We have a seed called Semicarbus anacardium. That seed was used for purifying water. In those days, water was kept in copper utensils. Copper will kill the microorganisms in 8 hours. So the microorganisms, harmful microorganisms in the water will be killed by copper. Water was filtered by sand. Water was filtered by charcoal. Water was filtered by vetiver, Vetiveria zizanoides. Water was filtered by cotton, Gossypium herbaceum. Water was kept in mud pots. So in mud pots, there was fine capillaries where the water used to seep and evaporate and give natural cooling. So the way in which the Indians were taking drinking water was mind-blowing. My dear friends, they used to boil the water and they used to cool the water and they used to take it. When you boil the water, the dissolved oxygen goes away, and when you cool it, more amount of oxygen comes into the water. When the water is boiling, they used to add a handful of cumin seeds. The volatile oil in the cumin seeds will go into the water and that water becomes an immunobooster. If you go to Kerala, the water they give will be maroon color. They add the bark of Padimugam. Sometimes the water will be gray color. They add the bark of Karungali, acacia. So water itself was considered as a medicine. They were drinking plenty of water. And in yesteryears, our forefathers were sipping and drinking water. They were sipping and drinking water. They were not gulping water. If you gulp water, you are prone for mid-ear infections. If you sip and drink, then you will not have mid-ear infections. Today, water has become scarce. We rarely drink water. Now we have to go for a water break, bio break to drink water. And we drink little amount of water. So the more water we take, it flushes the toxins in our body and it helps to boost. My dear friends, we all know about our immune system. The thymus, the lymph nodes, the spleen, the bone marrow, all of them play a major role in our immune system. I was mentioning about limb circulation and a namaskar. The major protection for us is our skin. So the skin has to be healthy. In yesteryears, every Indian was taking oil bath 2 times in a week. But today, the concept of taking oil bath is lost. When you add oil to your skin, the fat soluble impurities are removed. The skin gets nourished. The skin pores are open. So applying oil all over the body and having a hot water bath is very, very good. It increases the blood circulation, increases our immunity, our skin is healthy. But now we have forgotten this concept of taking oil bath, and you can see many number of people, appreciable percentage of people are suffering from dry skin, skin diseases. Why? Because we have lost the habit of having oil bath. In the morning, we used to expose ourselves to sun. In the evening, we used to play in the sun. And this exposure to sun used to give us vitamin D. This vitamin D will boost our immunity. Today, for the doctors who are in the COVID-19 ward, they are giving vitamin D tablets. Vitamin D tablets are required in those places where they don't have ample sunshine. We have ample sun. Only thing is we need to expose ourselves. In Tamil, we celebrate a function called Pongal. It is for 3 days. Pongal, Matu Pongal, Kanum Pongal. So in these 3 days, all the Tamilians will be on the road, will be exposing themselves to the sun. And this is in the January month when the sun is not very harsh. And this 3 days of exposure to sunlight will give them the vitamin D required for 1 year. So that was our lifestyle. Such a beautiful lifestyle. And this lifestyle was meant to boost our immune system. We were not afraid about bacteria, virus, and microbes in yesteryears. People were not afraid of cold. There was a very good Indian proverb. Cold is a condition that can be treated with medicine in 7 days, without medicine in a week. Cold, whether you take medicine, you don't take medicine, you will get cured. Your immune system will take care of it. Today, for cold, many people take antibiotics. Antibiotics act against bacteria. But cold is because of an allergy or because of a virus. So for allergy and virus, what is the fun in taking antibiotics? It can help you in only secondary infection, but allow your immunity to work. Your immunity will take care. You all know that our immune system has T cells. The T cells will engulf all the pathogens, and we have the B cells. These B cells will identify the pathogens. Our T cells will have to be given job. They will have to be always given some work. In Tamil Nadu, we have a community called Gypsy community. This Gypsy community, their immune system is so strong, you cannot find a Gypsy person suffering from skin disease. They will drink water at any place, they will eat at any place, their personal hygiene may be less, but their immune system is very high. So we all know that we have a beautiful immune system with B cells. In B cells, there are 2 cells, there are fighter cells and memory cells. And these memory cells, they remember the pathogens. A person who has once suffered from maybe a small type of pox, chicken pox, he will again not get the same disease. His immunity is strong. His memory cell will be able to remember the pathogens, and next time it sees the pathogens, it kills them immediately. We all have to nurture the greatness of our T cells, which eat all the dead antigens and invaders. You can see this beautiful photograph. A child will have an excellent immune system because its thymus gland is very good. You can look this. A child is licking a pig. Children, they play in the sand. They play with their friends. Nothing happens to them. Today, we have n number of pathogens, H1N1 virus, coronavirus. We have a challenge for our immune system: asthma, cancer, cold, flu, allergy, autoimmune disease, ear infections. The list goes on. An adult catches 2 to 4 colds a year. First time when you get a cold, in yesteryears, they were giving ampicillin. Now it is not being given. Then amoxicillin. Now if you have cold, directly 4th generation antibiotics. Civic sign. A child will get around some 10 cold. A 75-year-old man will have 200 episodes of cold infections. So in the first infection, you allow your immunity to work. The immunity will take care of the rest of the infections. But if you don't allow your active immunity, if you want to have artificial immunity, then you will have to face all these episodes of cold. Today, our food habits has changed. We take a lot of sugar. We take improper rest. We undergo a lot of stress. We expose ourselves to toxins. The stress, it could be emotional stress, it could be physical stress. They weaken our immune system. That is why in India, in Ayurveda and Siddha, everything was based on a religion. They used to say, don't worry. They used to create one person called God. He will take care. Whether God is there or not, that is beyond science. But when we have a belief that there is somebody to take care of our problems, then our stress is reduced. But today, so much of stress. Look at the IT industry. The people who work in the IT industry are under constant stress. They risk their health at their young age to earn money. And at their old age, whatever money they have earned, even if they spend all that money, they cannot get back their health. Morning at 5 o'clock, I used to go for a walk. And in my street, most of the houses will be closed. But in one house, there will be an old man. At morning 5:30, he will be awake. He will be opening his balcony. He will be watering the plants. He will be reading the newspaper. He will be wishing the passers-by good morning, happy morning. So I was very happy that an old man is so active in the early morning. So one day I just stopped and complimented him. Sir, at this age, you are so active in the morning. When I said this, his face became very small. He said, what age? Sir, I think you must be 60. He said, no, I'm only 35. So at the age of 35, he has become so, he was appearing as if he was 60. I said, no, sir, how can you be 35? He said, no. I'm only 35 years old. I have earned so much of money. I was in the IT sector. So I used to work. And now I have diabetes, I have hypertension. Now I have heart problem. Now I have obesity. Now I am bald. I have lost my hair and I'm looking old. I have wrinkles on my face. So this stress is immune system killer, and we expose ourselves to different type of toxins, and all these toxins are harmful. So now for these toxins, our immune system need our help. The immune system will give us some memos. It will send us some circulars. It will say that our immune system is getting weaker, but we neglect them. When we get a fever, we immediately take a paracetamol tablet. But that paracetamol tablet is only just like putting off the alarm. We have a thermostat in our brain. Our paracetamol just puts off the thermostat. That's all. But that increase in body temperature, that fever, is a memo given that something has happened to our immune system. There is some invaders. We don't take care of the invaders. We just put off the alarm. So that is very wrong. The immune system is a network of cells, tissues, and organs that work together to protect the body from infection. The human body provides an ideal environment for many microbes. Our mouth, our skin, our stomach, they host a number of microorganisms. So if our immunity is strong, nothing will happen. If our immunity is weak, then the microorganisms in our skin, in our mouth, in our intestine, they all will start fighting with us. So how to strengthen our immunity? Rule number 1, take adequate rest. Today, we don't follow our circadian rhythm. What does our circadian rhythm says? At night, 8 o'clock, go to sleep. Morning, 4 o'clock, wake up. But we are ready to wake up till early morning, 2 o'clock. And we are ready to sleep till the next day morning, 10 o'clock. So this will harm our circadian rhythm. Our body has a biological clock. So this clock is very, very important. You have to take rest when the body needs. You will have to exercise regularly. We don't exercise. We have become couch potatoes. We have to have deep breath. What we are doing is shallow breath. We have to avoid sugar. There are 3 whites to be avoided: sugar, salt, and maida. We have to avoid baked goods. All baked goods are made up of maida. Maida doesn't have any fiber. We have to take a food rich in vegetables, fruits, legumes, whole grains, low fat, proteins. We have to drink a lot of water. So these and all are the ways by which we can strengthen our immune system. Our immune system needs a daily dose of vitamin C. The best source of vitamin C is gooseberry, amla, phyllanthus. So in this gooseberry, you have excellent amount of vitamin C. This vitamin C is an antioxidant. It is a natural antihistamine. It is used in prevention and treatment of cold. So if you take a daily dose of vitamin C, you can save yourself, protect yourself from corona. Vitamin C is present in citrus fruits. And in this season, you will have a lot of citrus fruits: orange, lemon. So every day in the morning, you have to break your fast with lemon juice. Take a glass of warm water, 1 slice of lemon along with the skin. Squeeze the lemon and put the skin in the warm water. Add a spoon of honey and take it in the morning. Your entire digestive system will be warmed up and will be cleaned. It will boost your immunity. This is a Siddha system of medicine. It is also recommended in Ayurveda. So as a pharmacognosist, as a pharmacist, it is our duty to do research on this morning recipe. 1 glass of warm water with 1 spoon of honey, 1 slice of lemon. What does it do? Do research at your end. Publish it, patent it, put it in traditional knowledge digital library and give it to the society to follow. With vitamin C, asthma, frequency of cold and flu, anemia, weak immune system, everything, allergy can be taken care. The next thing that we need is vitamin D. Vitamin D is available, as I said, in ample in sunlight. It has a number of benefits. It boosts our immune system. Especially in this corona season, vitamin C and vitamin D are very much required. For a strong immune system, copper, selenium, and zinc is very much required. When you heat zinc, you get a hissing sound. That is why in Tamil, zinc is called as Nagam. Nagam means snake. The snake will give a hissing sound, cobra. So similarly, when you heat zinc, it gives a hissing sound. That is why it is called Tuttanagam or Nagam. There are now a number of natural plants good in zinc. In olden days, they used to make of vessels which had a portion of zinc. One very great boon for our immune system is called garlic. This garlic, many of us have started creating an aversion because of the odor. If you put it in milk and boil it and cook it, that odor is lost. And that ulcerogenic effect is also lost. So every day night, when you go to bed, you have to take golden milk. What is golden milk? 1 glass of milk with 5 to 7 bulbs of garlic, a bit of turmeric, a bit of pepper, boil it, cool it, and drink it at night. So this garlic has allicin, immunostimulant. It has around some 45 phytoconstituents. All of them stimulate our immune system. Daily you take garlic. It is a major weapon to fight against COVID-19. It boosts our immune system. It has anti-inflammatory, antiviral properties. It has antibacterial, antifungal properties. It kills the intestinal parasites, protects from radiation, increases white blood cells, lowers bad cholesterol. So the benefits of garlic are immense. You will have to take it. I was mentioning about zinc. It has a lot of effects on our body. We need to take a zinc supplement. In Sanskrit, there is a beautiful terminology called Amantaram Aksharam Nasti. Nasti Moolam Aushadam. That means there is no letter without a magic spell. There is no root or herb without a medicinal property. All plants have medicinal properties. Only thing is we should know that and we should know how to use it. I was mentioning about this lemon juice. I was mentioning that we should take about fruits. The other seasonal fruit that is very good, especially to boost our immunity, is watermelon. In this season, you get ample of watermelon. Take a daily dose of watermelon, which has antioxidants and glutathione. So this glutathione, which is present in the red pulp, it strengthens our immune system. See, plants are anabolic. That means they take nutrients from the soil, they take sunlight, they take water, they take air, and then they create. But we have some other things that are catabolic. They are called mushrooms. So whenever there is a plant or a bark or a wood, on that mushrooms grow. There is a type of mushroom called button mushroom. These button mushrooms have ample of vitamin B, riboflavin, niacin. So they boost our immunity. Button mushrooms have selenium. This selenium has excellent antioxidant activity. So for flu and cold, button mushrooms are better. This is the season where you will have grapefruits. Grapes look like the alveoli in our lungs. So if you take these grapefruits, they have a lot of vitamin C, and this vitamin C will boost your immunity. But you must be very careful. In many places, they smear the grapefruit with pesticides. So these pesticides on the surface of the grape is very harmful. They are carcinogenic. They will cause you cancer. So you have to wash the fruits in salt water. You have to wash the fruits in warm water, and then you will have to take it. These grapes are flavonoids. All these flavonoids, they boost your immune system. If there is a poor person, he will be taking groundnuts. If he is well off, he will take almonds. So these almonds are very rich in vitamin E and vitamin B. So they boost our immune system. Taking buttermilk is very, very good. The more dilute the buttermilk, the better it is. Buttermilk has lactobacilli. They keep our digestive system healthy. If our digestive system is healthy, it can take the micronutrients. If it takes the micronutrients, then our immunity will improve. So when you are taking these natural supplements, you should be careful, because today some people develop allergies even for natural foods. There could be some drug-herb interaction, drug-food interactions. There could be some contaminations. You should be very careful. During this 50 days plus lockdown period, many vegetables were not being shifted to the people. So they were made to rot in the field. Many fruits are made to rot in the field. You can see that in the news. But have you seen in the news that the perishable goods, milk, being thrown away? See, there are a number of tea shops. Each and every tea shop is using so much of milk. The dairy industry is so big. During this lockdown period, all the tea shops have been closed. Now, what happened to that excess milk? Was it thrown on the road? What happened to it? Nobody knows. This shows that in dairy industry, there is a lot of adulteration. There is synthetic milk. You take an ultrasonator, you add some oil, you add some urea, you add some soap. You can create milk. You go into the website, you go into the net, there are a number of videos where they show you how to make synthetic milk, and the synthetic milk is adulterated with the normal milk. So if you take those adulterants, they jeopardize our health. So our immune system is affected. God has put a signature on each and every plant. You take, for example, beans, they look like our kidney. That means they could be useful to our kidney. You take walnut, they look like our brain. So it could be useful to our brain. You take the carrot, they look like the pupil of the eye. So it could be useful to the eye. And today science has proved that carrot is beneficial to the eye. You look like celery, they look like our bones. They have calcium. They are useful for our bones. You look like avocado. Avocado is looking like the womb and cervix. So it is useful for gynecological problems. Figs, they look like the scrotal sac. They are useful for male infertility. Mushroom looks like an ear. So I was already mentioning that mushroom is having vitamin D, and it is healthy for the ear bones, and it reduces the bags in the ear. I was mentioning about these grapes. They look like our alveoli, and they boost the immunity. They are useful in the management of asthma, in the management of allergy. And look at ginger. Ginger is looking like a stomach, and ginger boosts our immunity. The outer skin of ginger is dangerous because ginger is underground modification of the stem. It is under the soil. So it will have microorganisms. So when you use ginger, you will have to remove the outer skin. And then you will have to make it into pieces. In the morning, if you take ginger daily, it will improve your digestion and it will improve your immunity, especially for cold and flu. In the Indian systems of medicine, ginger is advocated. So we all know about the phytoconstituents of ginger, gingiberine, gingiberol, many compounds. And all these compounds, they act synergistically. Sweet potato, they look like pancreas. They increase the glycemic index. But to enhance the color of the sweet potato, on the surface of sweet potato, they color it with a chemical called rhodamine. This rhodamine is carcinogenic. So don't go for the color. Olives, They look like our ovary. Olive oil is very healthy. So this is doctrine of signature. God has put a signature on each and every plant. We should understand it and we should take it. And the more we take it, the more it is helpful to our immunity. How much time more can I speak? Admin? Hello?
Sir. You can speak for 15 more minutes, sir. 1-5.
1-5. Okay,
Yes,
okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. My dear friends, in yesteryears, we were eating on a plantain leaf. The plantain leaf on the surface has a wax coating, and the plantain leaf has potassium salts, potassium oxalate. The plantain leaf is biodegradable. But today, we are eating in plastic plates. On plastic plates, microorganisms will grow. And these plastic plates, plastic paper, they are a threat to our environment. On a plantain leaf, if we add hot food, rice, and then if we add rasam, sambar, which are having tartaric acid, this tartaric acid leaches the potassium salts in this plantain leaves and takes it into our body. So eating in a plantain leaf is said to be an immunostimulant. So as Indians, we should do research on these areas. We cannot expect a foreigner to come and do research on our system of life. Eating a banana, a country banana, it has lot of micronutrients. It is also said to reduce stress. The plantain pith, the plantain flower, all of them are used in therapeutics. The next is betel leaf. This betel leaf is a best digestant and a immunostimulant. It was misused because of various additives, and it was said that it causes cancer, and now the use of betel leaf is left off. So this research we have to do again, because betel leaf, when used judiciously, has more benefits. It doesn't cause cancer. You can see, you come to the villages, you can see our village people, they eat so much of betel leaf, nothing happens to them. There is a method how to eat it. When they cut the betel leaf, the petiole, because of enzymatic reaction, has a color change, so the petiole is removed before eating. This leaf started decaying from the tip, so the tip is removed. On this betel leaf, on the back side, you have small insects, worms that lay eggs. So there we spread calcium, lime, and then it is rolled and taken in. The first saliva is thrown out. The second saliva is swallowed. So there is a method of taking the betel leaf. And this betel leaf is a very good digestant. I can give you one life example. This beetle is called rhinoceros beetle. So this rhinoceros beetle affects the coconut trees. So to remove this rhinoceros beetle, they inject a pesticide into the xylem of the coconut tree. So this pesticide remains in the shoot, and if you eat the coconut or the tender coconut from that tree, you will get cancer. On the other hand, if you sieve sand and if you put it on the shoot of the coconut tree, the sand will go in between the head and the thorax of the rhinoceros beetle, and the beetle will be killed. So it is a mechanical method of removing this rhinoceros beetle. And this mechanical method devised by Indians is far superior than the pesticide method introduced by the Western world. So today, in whatever foodstuff that we eat, if we are buying atta, we don't want any insects or worms in atta. So to avoid insects and worms in atta they are adding pesticides. So those pesticides are more dangerous than the insects and worms in atta. So we must be very cautious when we take our food substances. Another one thing is the fridge. In fridge, we keep food that is becoming stale. Some food items are kept for 1 week. They are kept for even 10 days. So when you keep a vegetable, fruit in fridge for a long period of time, the nutritional value is lost. If you buy cabbage, if you take the outer leaf, you can find pesticides. In onion, when you cut onion, on the third or fourth scale leaf, you can find a black color powder, that is mold. Apple, it is being polished by wax, so that is called apple polishing. So that is harmful. The greens that you get in the market, they are colored with malachite green to enhance their appearance. Jaggery, to enhance the appearance, what do you call, this urea is added. To prevent the idli batter from fermenting, people have started adding boric acid. To enhance the color of cardamom, the outer skin of cardamom is coated with chemicals. And many people, they crush the cardamom with the skin. And the color in the skin, when it goes in, causes cancer. In the name of modernization, we have lost our tradition. Chyawanprash is an Ayurvedic formulation where the vitamin C content of amla is preserved. Vitamin C is stable in Chyawanprash because it is in lipid medium. Now, in the name of modernization, some people have come out with biscuits of Chyawanprash. When Chyawanprash is made into a biscuit, and when we analyze, it didn't have vitamin C. So Chyawanprash, the major ingredient is amla, gooseberry, which has excellent vitamin C. So to preserve that vitamin C, our forefathers have come out with a great formulation called Chyawanprash. Chyawan means 47. It has 47 ingredients, which are bioavailability enhancers. And Chyawan is the saint who made this formulation. So in his name, it is called as Chyawanprash. So in the name of modernization, when we convert it into a biscuit, it loses its vitamin C content and its therapeutic efficacy. So such pseudo-modernization has to be avoided. So my dear friends, today we have an Ayush ministry. This Ayush ministry has come out with a number of guidelines. They have come out with an app called Sanjeevani app. In your mobile phone, you can download the Sanjeevani app and you can find lot of information on how to overcome corona. They have given information that you should be taking green tea because it has flavonoids, epigallocatechin, gallate, L-thiamine. You should take greens daily. These greens have vitamin C, beta-carotene, and they act on our parasympathetic nervous system, and they also boost our immunity. Turmeric is the gift of India to the world. We are major producers of turmeric. Turmeric has curcumin. Curcumin is the best antioxidant, immunostimulant, antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal. So in yesteryears, the women were smearing themselves with turmeric. Turmeric along with lime gives red color. And to remove the corrosiveness of lime, they add oil that is called kumkum. So all the men and women, they were having kumkum on their forehead. But slowly, because of modernization, this was left out. Today we take a sticker made of velvet cloth, red gum, and then we keep it as stickers. So that gum is not friendly to our skin. It creates irritation. But turmeric is good. So we were using turmeric ad libitum. In all the foods, turmeric was used. So today also they have proved that turmeric is an immuno booster. My dear friends, the Ministry of Ayush has come out with two formulations. One is called as Kalmeg Kashaya and another one is called as Kabasura Kudinir. Kalmeg Kashaya is both there in Ayurveda and Siddha, and Kabasura Kudinir is in Siddha. Both of them is claimed to be beneficial in boosting our immunity against COVID. So a lot of information is available on the website on both these formulations. Both these formulations have a plant called Andrographis paniculata. This Andrographis paniculata is an immuno booster. This is a plant that is available in the wild on the roadside. But now, because the demand for Andrographis is more, this plant is becoming extinct. So now we will have to start cultivation of this plant. This corona is not going to just go away. It is going to teach us a lot of other lessons. So to boost our immunity, we need to take this immuno-boosting agents available in our ancient system of medicine. In Tamil Nadu, many people have started preparing these formulations. While preparing these formulations, they don't follow quality control of raw materials. They don't follow the quality control of in-process. They don't follow the quality control of the finished product. So because of that, substandard products are coming into the market. I was mentioning about a formulation called Nilavembu Kudineer, Kalmeg Kashaya. It has 9 ingredients. One of the ingredient is sandalwood. Sandalwood is very costly. Because it is costly, people don't add this in the churnam, and because of that, people who take Kalmeg Kashaya, Nilavembu Kudineer without sandalwood, they suffer from mouth ulcers. So we don't have any authority to modify the traditional formulations. As pharmacy people, it is our duty that we should standardize these formulations. We should standardize the raw materials. We should standardize the in-process quality control. We should standardize the finished product. We should come out with stability studies. We should come out with packaging studies. That is the need of the hour. We should take these formulations. We should have belief in these formulations. We should scientifically prove the efficacy of these formulations. That is the need of the hour. My dear friends, this corona has taught us a lot of things. Among the many things that corona has taught us, we will have to modify our lifestyle. Now, we will have to do collaborative research. Whatever may be your field of interest, you can take up one formulation. You can take up one medicinal plant available in India, because many of the plants can work on that plant. You can prove its efficacy. You can patent it, or you can also put it in traditional knowledge digital library so that nobody else can patent it, and it could be available to the society. So my dear friends, I thank you very much for your patient listening. I thank the organizers for having organized such a beautiful workshop, conference, seminar, which is the need of the hour in the right time. And this morning, thank you very much for your valuable time. I thank you all for your patient listening, and I'm open for questions. Thank you one and all.
Sir, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your very, very informative and valuable session.
Thank you.
I request the participants, the session is open for your questions. Any of the participants, if you want to talk to the speaker, then kindly raise your hands in the WhatsApp, in the Zoom. I will unmute their mic so that you can talk to the speaker directly. Yeah, Swarupa. Madam Swarupa, I have unmuted your mic.
Sir. Good morning, sir. Could you hear me?
Happy morning, madam. Yeah, we are able to hear you.
Happy morning, sir. Sir, to be frank, this is one of the most needed and one of the excellent webinar which I have been hearing in this lockdown days. It was really like a small glance of what we have forgotten and what we have to do. And being a pharmaceutical, my department is of pharmaceutics. So you have triggered to do research in what is getting extinct and what is of our own knowledge, etc. But one question I would like to ask you is, which you already have mentioned, that the basic thing is that in herbal formulations, we cannot guess the standard of the drug, which we can do in the allopathic medicines. Yeah. So which you already have mentioned it. So we require some guidelines and also clinical trials, etc. And in one webinar, I have heard that of natural products has been developed from India, whereas 82% has been developed from rest of world. Being the motherland of traditional medicines, we are so poor that we cannot develop medicines due to substandardness, etc. But apart from that, one question I would like to ask you is, these coronaviruses are similar to that of our cold viruses. So as you already discussed, when we see our chicken pox or smallpox, etc., when we have encountered them in a lifetime, we develop memory cells. But that is not happening in case of coronavirus, because cold, we encounter them many times, because our memory cells may not remember the cold, or the reason for cold may be different at different times. Then what you would like to comment on this, sir? Because as per my knowledge, I'm thinking that this corona is not going to end up now. It may become a common cold, same like a common cold in future, that is in 5 to 10 years. It is similar to our common cold. So I just need your opinion on this.
Thank you very much for your interest in this webinar, and thank you for your beautiful thought-provoking question. So here, our system, respiratory system, digestive system, if they are very, 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 very strong, we can overcome the attack from corona. If your immune system is very strong, it can easily start fighting it with a very small lag period. So for that, we have to go to the tried, tested, and trusted formulations. Now, I was mentioning about this Kabajara Kudineer and Nilavembu Kudineer. If you take Nilavembu Kudineer, it has 9 ingredients. If you take Kabajara Kudineer, it has 15 ingredients. So if you take all these ingredients, all of them, they have an effect on our respiratory tract. They are useful in asthma. They are useful in upper respiratory tract infections. They are useful in cold and flu. So they have an activity which we need to establish. And again, there are some exercises, like for example, pranayama. Pranayama is an exercise that helps us in breathing. So when we have a strong breathing, our vital volume is improved. When our vital volume is improved, there is a mechanism by which we will be able to throw things out. We had a lifestyle modification of saltwater gargling. So in the early morning, in the night, we used to gargle. So when we gargle, if there are any viruses here, they are also thrown out. So we used to mention personal hygiene. In those days, when we used to enter into the house, we used to leave the slippers outside. We used to wash our legs, wash our hands, and then we used to come in. Slowly that habit got lost. They were coming into the drawing room with their shoes, and slowly they were into infections. And now we understand that we have to leave our slippers, our hands and legs, and then we have to come in. So what our forefathers experienced, and then they were able to come out with solutions to problems. We have the solutions, but we don't understand the scientific reasoning behind that. So now it is our duty to do that. So we have this glorious tradition which many other countries don't have. So it is now our duty, our responsibility to accept our glorious tradition and to do research on standardizing these formulations. Initial research on this Kabajara Kudineer and Nilavembu Kudineer have proved that it is very efficacious in overcoming corona. Now we have to go for individual raw material and the finished product in various methods. We need to identify markers, and based on these markers, we need to standardize it. So this is what that has to be done. We can know that the percentage of death in India is comparatively very, very low. So we have a herd immunity. So this herd immunity will develop by itself. And only thing is we used to boost it. We used to help the immunity. And for that, our traditional foods, our superfoods, our nutraceuticals, our functional foods will be of great value, provided we take them with proper diligence. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I request all the participants to be specific in your questions so that we can accommodate more number of questions in the session. And meanwhile, I'm going to launch a poll for the purpose of our feedback and our documentation. Just you can poll whichever it is feasible for you. And I'm going to unmute Alagu Sundaram, sir.
Sir, good morning, sir.
Happy morning.
Sir, I'm Alagu Sundaram, Principal, Jagan's College of Pharmacy.
How are you?
Fine, sir. How are you, sir?
I am fine. I am fine.
Because whenever that urgency will be coming, once the dengue fever is come, immediately we come to know that Nilavembu Kodinir.
Yes, sir.
Now
Dengue,
the corona is
chikungunya.
come, we come to know that Kabasura Kodinir.
Yes, sir.
Because
Yes, sir.
these are the formula already is there in our Siddha medicines and Siddha book.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But no one it is exposing, because in our system of medicines, we are having all the remedies.
Yes, sir.
Actually, recently what happened, my brother daughter, that centipede, in Tamil we can call it as Puran. He is bitten. Immediately, that early morning, the 4 o'clock, we didn't find any hospital. Immediately, in nearby my house, one of the grandma, she told that just you can take one betel leaf and 5 pepper. Okay, you can give, immediately to be rectified. So that just I wonder, immediately to be rectified. Because my question is, because in our origin, system of medicines, we are having all the remedies for all the diseases, but just Namke was we are having Ayush system, but the government is not investing so much amount in order to develop the Siddha medicines, whereas compared to allopathy. Why the government is not investing more amount for developing the system of medicine, Siddha system of medicines, when compared to allopathy, sir?
It is a very, what do you call, sensitive question. See, we were under the British for 200 years. So before that, we were under the Mughals for 300 years. So for 500 years, slowly this Ayurveda and Siddha has been sidelined and our allopathy has been come up. Now today, if a person is seriously ill with COVID, then we go only to allopathy. As a prophylaxis, we have very good medicine for corona. But for management of acute conditions, so the information that was available in yesteryears has been lost because of improper documentation. Now it is our duty to find out this and to bring it to its old glory. It will take some time. Currently, the ministry is working on very well, and it's going on. It will take some time, but the major problem is like if you take a Ayurveda research team, so it has botanist, it has what you call Ayurvedic physician, it has pharmacologist, but that is not required. What is required is a pharmacy person. Only we will be able to know how to establish the taxonomical identity. We will be knowing about the phytochemistry. We will be knowing about the phytoformulation. So we will be able to play a major role. But at this juncture, we are moving away from natural products. So that is very saddening. So that is my humble request. So all the active participants listening to this, please be interested in your own system of medicine. So this, you are an Indian. Ayurveda and Siddha is Indian system of medicine. Please be interested in the Siddha system of medicine, and from your angle start contributing. You could be a Sutix person. You take some 5 Ayurvedic formulations, and each and every formulation has a problem. They don't have pre-formulation studies. They don't have stability studies. They don't have a proper what you call packaging, labeling studies. So why don't we do that? So that is very much essential. That is the need of the hour, and that is my humble request. Please, each and everyone, get interested in our Indian system of medicine. See, if you take as Korea, they have a Korean system of medicine. You take China, they have Chinese system of medicine. So they have Chinese herbal pharmacopoeia, Korean herbal pharmacopoeia, African traditional system of medicine. They have their own pharmacopoeia. You have British herbal pharmacopoeia. So everybody is relying on their traditional system of medicine. They are modernizing it. But in our case, still we believe in our system of medicine. In prophylaxis, our traditional systems of medicine are far, far superior. So first of all, follow it. Try to get more information. Work on it. And we will bring it at par with China, Korea, and other countries. It can be done. So thank you for your concern.
Sir, Sudha Nelson Kumar, sir.
Yes, sir, please.
Sir, you can ask the question, sir.
Sir, very good afternoon, sir.
Happy afternoon, sir. How are you, sir?
Fine, fine, sir. And no need to mention Gopal sir is always the best. And
thank you,
congratulations and thank you, Ishaq, for giving it a better opportunity.
Thank you.
Sir,
Sir.
my question is very simple, sir. You said every day early morning better to take warm water with a slice of lemon and honey. And later on you emphasize that better to take garlic early in the morning. Whether both will give synergistic effect or each has to take an alternative days.
Yeah, garlic has to be taken at night. That I was mentioning about golden milk. So golden milk is a formulation that is taken at bedtime, 2 hours before sleeping. So this golden milk is milk with 5 to 7 bulbs of garlic, and it is boiled. And after removing it from the flame, you add turmeric, you add pepper, and then you sip and take it. Garlic, the volatile oil of garlic, and all the ingredients of garlic, they go into the milk. If you take garlic as such, you will have the water, and you will have that ulcerogenic effect. So both of them is removed because of that milk, and all the goodness of garlic goes into that milk, and it is bioavailability is improved by pepper, and you have additional synergistic effect from turmeric. So that milk will be in golden color. That is called Tangapal in Tamil. So that will have to be taken at night. So honey, lemon, warm water in the morning, turmeric, pepper, milk, and garlic in the night. So this is how we take it.
Thank you, sir. Next, we will admit the question from Durga Bhavani, madam.
Yeah, please.
Sir, good afternoon, sir.
Happy afternoon, madam. How are you, madam?
Fine, sir. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, madam.
Sir, myself is I am from Vishnu Group, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I want to ask a simple question, sir.
Please.
Just for giving food to the babies, generally nowadays they are using spoons, not using hands to give the food. Which one, sir? And we know we have to wash our hands and we have our utensils we will give. But I want to ask because I know, but just
thank you very much for his beautiful question. I have a guru. He's a very learned person in Siddha system of medicine. So I was speaking with him today morning. So he gave one insight. He said, because of Corona, now we are physically distanced. So we call it as social distancing. Actually, it is not social distancing. It is physical distancing. We are socially united, physically distanced. So when we are physically distanced, one major problem is we lack touch. So a mother, when she touches the child will have an emotional boost. So this touching in science, it is just a mannerism. But in our system of medicine, that is something high. So when we wash our hands properly, following all the methods, palm over palm, back over back, interdigital spaces, fingertips, nail, thumb, wrist, if we wash all that properly, and then if we eat in our own hand, it is more nutritious than by eating with a spoon. And similarly, when a mother feeds the child with her palm, so you have that love being given, shared by mother to the child. And so eating with hand, feeding with hand is the best, provided we follow all the personal hygiene. See, a metal spoon, it is a dead element. So how can it, see, our food is beyond what you call all this materialistic value. See, the mother, when she gives the food with a lot of love, that gives a flavor, that gives a taste. So that taste can never be acquired by a corporate restaurant. So having a food by hand and feeding a baby with hand, it really has a great impact. And I agree with you. Thank you.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Before you start, you unmute your mic.
Yeah, I have unmuted. Sir, Dwarka sir, are you there?
Please.
Hello, Dwarka sir.
Yes. Dwarka sir is there. Sir. Dwarkanath sir. Sir, your question. Dwarkanath sir. Ask once again.
Sir, Dwarka sir, are you there? Yes, sir. Okay, fine, sir. We will take the question from one more person. Let's have the question from Lakshmi Devi, madam. Madam, please, madam. Lakshmi Devi, madam, are you is it audible, madam?
Unmute Lakshmi Devi. Ishak.
Yeah, okay, sir. Good morning, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you are audible.
Thank you so much, sir. Very informative session, sir. Really, I learned so many things from your knowledge, sir. Sir, I have two questions, sir.
Please.
Sir, morning with emetic stomach, we have to take lukewarm warm water along with that lemon and honey, no, sir.
Yeah.
Somebody is, if we will drink with lemon, so it causes the gastric problem. Is there any alternative for that, sir?
Yeah. See, this is a very rare case. In rare cases, some people may be allergic to lemon. So in that case, you can leave that and you can take warm water with honey. See what happens, our ciliary muscle, when you have a citric acid dose and honey, so they get stimulated. So the whole day they will be very well prepared to digest our food. So if you are allergic to lemon, or lemon juice, it's a very rare condition. So in that case, you can just avoid lemon, and instead you can add amla, but again you will have to consult some leading Siddha practitioners, and then you can proceed along with it. Warm water with honey will also work.
Okay, thank you, sir. Next question, sir. Sir, from past 5 years onwards, during the dengue fever, somebody is giving papaya juice to cure the dengue fever, sir. How it will affect on that dengue fever, sir? According to researchers, it's showing increasing the platelet count. But some of the articles are saying it is increasing. Some of the articles showing it is not at all increasing the platelet count. Is it correct or wrong, sir?
Yeah, thank you very much for this beautiful question. See, papaya leaf fresh juice. That means it should be from a plant that is yielding fruits, number one. And you should take only the leaf lamina, leaf midrib, the vein, that and all should not be taken. Only lamina has to be taken. You should take 10 grams of leaf lamina and you have to crush it and take the fresh juice. So that is said to enhance the platelet. But when you do research, the major problem is biological variation. In plants, you have 4 types of variation. One is seasonal variation, another one is ontogenic variation, third one is edaphic variation, and fourth one is geographical variation. So you will have to minimize. If you minimize these variations, then you will be getting reproductive results. That is why people who work on herbal drugs, because they don't concentrate on these aspects, they don't get reproducible results, they end up in trouble. So again, this papaya leaf has number of ingredients. It not only acts on platelets, it also acts on our hypothalamus and brings down the thermostat so that the femur is reduced. So you cannot pharmacologically screen it as you are screening a single molecule. It has number of molecules, each and every molecule, and the action is holistic. It is not on a particular organ. So the way in which it has to be tested is a different form. So ICMR has come out with some guidelines for that. And you need to have a team and work out a strategy for proving the efficacy of papaya leaf juice. So then only it will be efficacious. Otherwise, they will test it and say it is not active and throw it. And we are the losers. Nobody else are the losers. And again, we have a government clear-cut instruction. If it is in our Drugs and Cosmetics Act, they can be bypassing phase 1 clinical trials. If it is a classical medicine, so if it is there in our traditional text, it can be accepted. So we need to come out with methods which will be acceptable to the modern science, improving the efficacy of our traditional medicine. So that needs a lot of think process, and for that, I'm welcoming all of you. Thank you for your nice question.
Thank you. Sir, can we have a couple of questions more?
Yeah, I'm free. I have no problem. Provided that Zoom, they have that time slot available, I have no problem.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we will input 2 more questions, sir.
Yes,
let's
sir,
have
please.
A question. Yeah, we will have a question from Dr. Suvindu Saha. Sir, Dr. Suvindu Saha, you are free to talk now.
Yeah, am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you are audible.
A very good afternoon, sir.
Happy afternoon.
I really like your presentations. It is a very nice and informative, sir. One simple question, sir. Those who are diabetic, instead of honey, lukewarm water, is there any alternative? So many things people are suggesting are so many things.
Yeah. See, if you are diabetic, you will have to avoid honey. But again, in our Indian system of medicine, honey is not said to affect our glycemic index. But we cannot take chances. So if you are avoiding that, then you have to go to the other 2. That is warm water with lemon, without honey. So that can be taken. And person to person, it is tailor-made. So we cannot generalize it. So warm water with lemon along with the rind has pectin. So that could also be beneficial if you can avoid honey in case of diabetic patients.
Let's have a question from Dr. Dwarakanath Reddy.
Please.
Dwarak sir, you are open to talk.
Sir, good evening, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Sir, good afternoon. Namaskaram.
Sir, namaskar. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. How are yourself, sir? Long time.
Yeah, fine, sir. Fine, sir. Sir, a small doubt. Just a small question for you, sir.
Yes, sir. Please.
Sir, why not the government given free sample for the public regarding the immunoboosters?
Yeah, thank you. It's a very nice question. See, the government is always trying to give free samples, but availability. I was mentioning about Andrographis paniculata, that weed initially was available in abundance, but now because of scrupulous exploitation, because of heavy demand and less supply, because nobody has gone for cultivation, the Andrographis paniculata is now not available to the extent it is available. Like for example, if you take Nilavembu Kutinir, there are 2 ingredients. One is Peipudal and another one is Parpadagam. Their availability is again very less. So in Nilavembu Kutinir, there is an addition of sandalwood, Vilammichai, vetiver, Porekirange, there is Cyprus rotundus. So the availability of all this is not to the extent of the demand. So we look at our population, the population is very heavy, and look at the dose. You have to take it 2 times a day for 5 days. So 2 times a day for 5 days means for 1 person, we need 100 grams. So 100 grams for 1 course per person means so much amount of ingredients is required, which currently we don't have a state of art either to manufacture it or to give it. This has to be made as a Kutinir. Kutinir means it is a water decoction that will have a shelf life of only 3 hours. So within 3 hours, you will have to take it. So they will have to make it on their home. So how many people will be able to do it? And it has to be taken on empty stomach in the morning and in the night 2 hours after food. So all this has created 2 problems. In Tamil Nadu, in Chennai, in few places, they have started distributing Nilavembu Kutinir. Like I belong to Indian Red Cross Society. I am the chairman of Indian Red Cross Society. So here we distributed Nilavembu Kutinir to all the policemen who are in the lockdown monitoring committee, to all the press people, and to what you call the health workers on the field. That is what we were able to do. And for that itself, it was very difficult. So it is only the practical difficulty, but now we have started speaking about it. So we will be discussing more and there will be solutions. And slowly some people will be proactive. They will come out with mass manufacturing, bulk manufacturing. So where we will be able, and then it can be given to each and everyone for free. So it's a very nice question that you have raised. And such questions when raised will get answers and will form solutions to this problem. Thank you. Hello, admin.
Sir. Dr. Kiran Kumar, sir.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes,
Dr.
sir.
Kiran Kumar, sir.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes, sir. You are audible. You are audible.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. My question is, Sir, in this pandemic COVID-19, what is the impact of Azadirachta indica and neem leaves and benzoin on these viral infections?
Very good, excellent question.
These two
so, congratulations on asking this beautiful question. See, we are virtually sitting on a gold green mine called neem. So in the whole world, India is having the maximum number of neem trees, and because neem was made into a god, it is now surviving. If neem was not made into a god, we should have all cut the trees, and all that bark would have become furnitures, and the tree would have become in danger. Now, this neem tender shoots, they boost our immunity. But because of the bitterness of neem, not many people take it, but the flowers and the tender shoots, they are immunoboosters. Now, this neem, I was mentioning about Yugadi Pachadi. So that is a vital ingredient in this Yugadi Pachadi. So having this neem is very, very good. The second one you asked is benzoin. Benzoin is a household fumigant in yesteryears. In yesteryears, on Friday in the evenings, all the houses used to fumigate their houses with benzoin. And when you fumigate your house with benzoin, all this fungus, microorganisms, virus, they all will be killed. Now, this benzoin, it is a resin. It is not available in the pure form. It is adulterated. So this benzoin, if it is available in pure form, we call it as pal sambrani in Tamil. That pal is a resin. Only that resin has that activity. So because the number of benzoin trees have come down, and again we are dependent on China for benzoin. So if we have our own resources, if we have this cultivation, if we have the pure resin without the adulterant, then it would have been very effective in fumigating each and every house. That is why I was mentioning about alum. If you go to any house in Andhra Pradesh, in front of their house, you can find a bulk stone of alum being tied. This alum dissolves in air and it purifies the air. In many houses, you can see that in the entrance there will be one aloe vera. There will be some plants that purify the air. So people give see aloe. It is also a immunostimulant. So if you have an aloe plant 10 feet by 10 feet, that area you will not get mosquitoes. So a lot of things are there in nature. Only thing is we will have to emphasize this and prove it. And for our demand, sudden demand, there is no supply. So that, as you raised, neem and benzoin, they have a major role to play in COVID-19, provided we have authentic material and used properly, and there is supply for the demand. Thank you. Thank you for the nice question.
Thank you, sir. Sir, am I allowed to take a few more questions? A couple of questions?
Yeah, you can take. You can take.
Sorry to extend the time, sir. We get a very rare opportunity to interact with the great people like you. There was a huge response from the audience to they have raised their hands.
Oh, thank you.
We'll just close the session with a couple of questions, sir. Due to the time constraints, I'm extremely sorry for the participants. Huge response was there by raising their hands. Let us take the question from Prashant. Mr. Prashant, you are open to talk now. Sir, you are open to talk now, sir. Prashant.
Yeah.
Sir, am I audible, Mr. Prashant? Sorry, sir. Let's move on to another participant. Let's have a question from Sai Padmini, madam.
Yeah.
Madam, you are open to talk now.
Okay. Good afternoon, sir.
Happy afternoon, madam.
Thank you for very nice presentation, sir.
Thank you.
You have given a topic on immunobooster. It is not only the boosting of immunity, you have boosted our enthusiasm with your presentation.
Thank you.
Most of us are here in today's session because of your enthusiastic presentation only. So how you will respond on COVID-19? Sir, I'm posing a small question without any reference or any knowledge, but it is only my view. Sir, when we take the South Indian system of medicine, in the introduction section, you have given most of the Indian system of medicine originated in South India itself.
Yeah.
Siddha as well as most of naturopathy.
Naturopathy, yoga.
Yeah, yeah, sir. Everything, most of the systems originated in South Indian systems. And then, or maybe we are following all the systems from the past 100 years, or maybe more than that, beyond that. Even though all the systems are available, we are following the immune food and all. Why most of the viral pandemic diseases are high in the South India compared to the North India? Any metrics are there to differentiate? Even when you take the COVID, most of the cases are from South India compared to the North India. Even though it is not good to differentiate like this, is there any scientific reason to define the virus attacks most immune people first, and after that it will spread to the remaining? Any scientific reason can I get?
Scientific reason, it is very difficult, but we can have some what you call tie-ups here and there. Number one, basically South Indians are rice eaters. And this rice that they were eating were from different varieties. But now, because of high yielding variety, they had all concentrated on single variety called Oryza sativa. Because they were concentrating on a single variety, that variety, which was initially a 6 months crop, has now become a 3 months crop. And because of that, they are now in trouble. The trouble is they eat only rice. And because of that, they have comorbidities. The comorbidities are diabetes, hypertension, and cardiac problems. So because of these comorbidities, because of pseudo-modernization, because they are more vulnerable to COVID-19. So that could be one reason where they are more susceptible. And again, the other reason is here the government is doing more number of tests. So because there are more number of tests, we are able to find out the positive. It is only because of the faulty lifestyle. In yesteryears, the Tamilians, they were eating rice only on occasions. That is only for Pongal, only for Deepavali, only on functions. And in other days, it used to be only millets and we call it a Sirdhaniyam. That is pulses and other varieties of rice. So now they have all, and basically Tamilian was eating only steam boiled rice. We call it as pungalarisi. Now, because of restaurant business, they have come to raw rice. In yesteryears, our Tamilian was eating more of fruits and vegetables. Now you go to any house, they eat vegetables and fruits occasionally, and they eat it in the wrong way. That is, we have to eat the fruits before food. You go to any Tamil Nadu hotel, you eat the food, and after the food only a banana will be given. So this will interfere into the digestion. It will start fermenting. It will create some problems. So everything is upside down. Over a period of time, we have lost our traditional method of having food. And this could have increased comorbidities. And because of this comorbidities, maybe COVID-19 is more harsh on South India. So this is only adding some links, but it needs to be established. And maybe there would be a meta-analysis study, and we will be able to get more inputs in this what you call field. But anyhow, your question has made us inquisitive to think about this and what you call have a change in eating practices. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We will admit the last question from Mr. Srikanth. Sir, you are open to talk now, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Happy afternoon.
Sir, very good informative presentation, sir, yours, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, I have a doubt with respect to the material or the drugs which you have suggested to immune boosters. Hello, is it audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
You are audible, sir. Please carry.
Sir, you have suggested to take garlic as well as this honey and other things also, even turmeric. All these things you have suggested. That is fantastic. But thing is that you have given a generalized one. If the people who are kids and older age people, and there are some other people who are not, all these causes increasing the body heat. Correct, sir?
Body heat. Okay, in modern medicine, we don't have a concept called heat. We can call it as metabolism. It increases the metabolic rate.
So generally, if you take drugs like this, if you are eating 4 or 5 garlic pieces at a time, in general, because of metabolism, the body heat is increasing and it is causing some burning sensation in the gastric area. So in such conditions, what is the remedy for that?
That is why I said I didn't ask you to take garlic as such. I was asking you to take it boiling in water, milk, and with turmeric and pepper. So now, there are some methods, like for example, if you take your food as a medicine, it has to be taken for 48 days and not more than that. Then you will have to give a holiday. But if you take your food as a prophylactic food, then you have to take it as a method. So this boiling of garlic in milk and taking it has been time tested. People have been taking it for ages. And again, when we speak in general. See, I cannot say that immunoboosters for children. So that could be a different topic. Immunoboosters for geriatric, that could be a different topic. Immunoboosters for pregnant women, that could be a different topic. Now we are speaking in general. So in this general, there could be a diabetic person, there could be a person ulcerogenic. So all this would be there. They are exceptions to the golden rule. So I had already said that if you are allergic, if you are not comfortable with this, you can just leave it, absolutely nothing of it. Instead of that, you can go for more of fruits. I was mentioning about amla fruit. I was mentioning about seasonal fruits. So all these fruits, I was mentioning about watermelon. So in which season, whichever fruit you get, why don't you take it? Whichever vegetable can have it. If you don't like garlic, you can go for onion, especially the small onion. It has the same allicin and all that immunoboosting effect like garlic. If you are a Jain, you will not be taking either garlic or onion. In that case, you can go for turmeric, pepper, and other varieties, or you can also go for some other immunoboosting agents which could be taken as a medicine for a brief dose. I was saying about this nilavembicudinir, kabajoracudinir, all of them are 2 times a day BID for 5 days. The course is over, so your immunity is boosted. So you will have to tailor make this medicine. In modern medicine, there is general. So even if a baby comes with fever, I give paracetamol. If an old age person comes, I give paracetamol. But in modern system of medicine, if a baby comes with fever, the treatment is different. If an old age person comes with fever, the treatment is different. Here it is tailor-made. So what general instruction is given has to be tailor-made to the requirements of the individual personal constitution of the body. Whether it is a Vada body, Pitta body, Kapha body. So I was mentioning about Kabajoracudinir. Kabajoracudinir is for corona. And similarly, there is Vada Joracudinir. There is what you call Pitta Joracudinir. So all this and this COVID-2, that is having effect on Vadam, Pittam, and Kabam. So in that case, you have to take Kabajoracudinir, Vada Joracudinir, and Pitta Joracudinir. You have to take all them together. So individual body constitution varies. So as per that, you will have to modify these general rules and take it to your comfort so that there is no allergy and no discomfort. Thank you for your question.
Thank you so much, sir. Still many more hands are rising. I'm extremely sorry, sir, to all the participants who are raising their hands. Almost 60 plus hands are still rising, sir. I'm extremely sorry. I could not able to take due to the time constraints. Dear participants, I'm extremely sorry and I'm very happy for your participation. Tomorrow also we are going to have a same session by Dr. Subramaniam Nateshan sir by 11:30 to 12:30. So I request all the participants to be tuned with us with the same Zoom link ID which is there in your mail. With this short session, now I request Dr. M. Srinivasan sir, our Director R&D, to propose a vote of thanks.
Thank you, Shaq.
Sir.
Specifically, sir, thank you so much, sir, Dr. Gopal sir, for accepting our invitation and coming on to the session and delivering your treasure of knowledge to shower on the young minds of the pharmacists. As you know, sir, you are the person who is having knowledge not only about the pharmacy background, also of the Siddha and Ayurveda, because you have pursued various diploma courses and degree courses. So we are very fortunate to have you very near to us, and we are very fortunate also to have your shower of blessings on us, on our institution. Thank you so much, sir. It's my pleasure to be here and giving a word of thanks to the contributors of today's session. I thank our chairman, Dr. M. Shanti Ramudu, sir, for giving an opportunity for all of us to perform our best and give the updated information to the rest of the people or rest of the professionals with us. My special thanks to Professor Gopal, sir, who is an eminent speaker today, for showering his knowledge on the young minds of the people. And sir lecture made every one of us to think again about the research. It is not only a research, it is a research that we must do on the Siddha and Ayurveda, where hidden treasures are there, which will be useful to again re-invite them into the mainstream of the public health to the entire world, not only to India, sir. Thank you so much, sir. And I thank especially to our director, Arjun Group of Institution, Dr. Ashok Kumar, sir, for giving our guidance for us and spending a lot of time for enlightening us and giving directions to move this kind of webinar series and all. I thank our dynamic principal, sir, Dr. Madhusudan Chetty, sir, for giving an opportunity for me to be coordinating with the program and making a useful thing in the right time to the pharmacy professionals, which makes the people to communicate and to educate in and around them, and by making the society, India, a more safer place for the COVID. I thank our admin group, each and every person who are involved, especially Dr. Ishak and Mr. Satish and others who are there, maybe behind the screen, who is putting a lot of efforts behind organizing such events. And I thank the other college principals, staff, faculty members, and participants, students, for their greatest support and joining with us in this session and sharing their experiences with us. I also thank this Gopal sir session not only limited to the region enlightenment. Sir, as you know, your session has crossed the borders. You have today, the participants are from the different countries. We have participants from the Indonesia also, sir.
Great.
And we have participants from the many states of India. So your treasure, your knowledge we require. We pray to the God, make God to bless you good health, and your people like you must be there for a longer time in this world to shower your knowledge, to enlighten the young minds to all of us. So thank you so much, sir. And yeah, I finally thank all the participants for patiently being with us and coordinating with us. And I personally apologize for any inconvenience if some of the participants are not able to connect. I'm used to get some calls. So I apologize for the inconvenience. You are very fortunate to join with us in the coming sessions also. If you have any queries, you can better ask me and come in touch with us before the session. That will make us to solve your problems and being with us. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And I thank SREC principal, sir, also for accommodating us and giving a lot of support for conducting this webinar. Thank you, sir. Thank you, one and all. And I thank Almighty to stay us healthy and being here out of the coronavirus infection. We must thank Almighty because this is the situation where there is no differentiation between the rich and poor. There is no difference in the racism because it has spread to all the countries in the world. It is taking the lives of the lakhs of the people. So try to accustom towards the tradition of the Indian system of a tradition, being it a food tradition, being it interpersonal relationship, interpersonal communication and all. And may God bless you to the safe world. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Thanks for giving this opportunity.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. We are going to end this session. I hope audience have got enough enormous information from sir. Tomorrow we are going to start the same session by 11:30. We are going to have Dr. Subramaniam meditation. So stay tuned by tomorrow 11:30. All the participants, I request you to go through the mail once again. You have the link in your mail. You can once again connect us by tomorrow at the same time. Thank you so much. Stay positive, stay alert, and stay safe. Jai Hind. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.